Yo, parish orphans and retrogrades. Happy Monday, October the 28th. The Synod on Synodality is over. The final document is out and implemented. And get this, it will replace, for the first time ever, the post-synodal apostolic exhortation. You heard that right. The Synod document, the final version of it that they worked on all of last week, is auto-implemented. We'll talk about what that means today. And in addition to being auto-implemented, or perhaps it's the corollary to being auto-implemented, it will not be followed by a summative post-synodal apostolic exhortation. This just is the exhortation for all intents and purposes. I'll explain why they're doing that, why they chose it. I'm going to read you the most honest speaker on this that's out. Father James Martin S.J., the naughty pet himself, after hours. After hours, James Martin. He wrote an article for America Magazine, for the Lesbians at America Magazine, explaining what's really in this document and why it's so good. And he is the most accurate, the most honest, the most unblemished reporter on what's really going on here. So I'm going to read that. Also breaking, I think just this morning, is this LUCE 2025. Before we, can we get that on screen?
Yeah, let me get this going.
So what you are about to behold is the official mascot of the Jubilee year in the church, released by the Vatican, 2025. The Vatican unveils the official mascot for 2025 Jubilee year as prep increases and pre-Jubilee events approach. Now, the artist is this guy that has done all sorts of pride, love is love, rainbow love. It looks like kitty, whatever, Tokidoki, rainbow everything. Love is love. You know what that is. LMNOPQ. The artist is he who did that, and it is a little emoji. It is like Japanime, which is just mortifying, cringe, mortifying to the faith. Could it become any more embarrassing, superficially embarrassing, to be a Catholic man or woman? There's just non-stop barrage of articles of embarrassment for anybody that's got a little bit of adult dignity here. It's so embarrassing, and it is it's brought to us by a LMNOPQ Japanime artist. I mean, is this on screen?
Yeah, it is. I have the all the pride stuff. Yeah, here's the guy. Picture of the guy on.
I'm looking at him here. He's look. There's not a lot of commentary you ought to need. It's either res ipsa loquitur yea or res ipsa loquitur nay. I saw caught wind of some folks defending this, defending the indefensible. And there's not a lot I'm going to say. You either know it or you don't. If you have to ask, you'll never know. This is the mortifying, endless stream of embarrassments that has been manufactured, hand-selected and manufactured and designed specifically for the faithful Roman Catholic. You know, you're meant to be mortified by this if you're a faithful Catholic, if you're a straight Catholic, if you're someone who appreciates the serenity and the solemnity of, say, the Latin Mass.
Somebody who doesn't drink Mountain Dew in the morning, has Taco Bell like 4 times a day, has to pay their own rent. Those sorts of people.
Yeah, or just likes people of the opposite sex. If you like people of the opposite sex, you get why getting an LMNOPQ art, like Japanime artist, to do a little like Pokemon figure, or a little like what is it like?
Anime. It's anime.
Which then you don't need me to explain it to you. I don't know. What do you guys think? Make a comment. in the chat here or in the comment box. If you're not watching live, let us know what you think. I think I have the kind of audience here at Rules for Retrogrades comprised of you parish orphans and retrogrades who automatically understand how lame this is and how it's sort of calculated obsolescence. You know, they're trying to make the faith not taken seriously in the world. And if you don't believe me, just see what Pope Francis said in Singapore 2 weeks ago when he said, you know, Hinduism is a path to the true faith. You know, all the other world religions worship the true God. This is indifferentism, which always couples with such strikes against our dignity as the one true faith. You know? So there you have it. I'm not going to say much more about it. It is mortifying. And if you have to ask, you'll never know. Let me read to you as we get into this. I don't want to talk about the mascot anymore. It's so gay. It's so gay.
It's so gay.
Oh my gosh.
And people are saying that it's fun. It's like, yeah, I guess people who find this fun are gay. Like, it's so dumb.
Yeah, I guess just if you find, I mean, they said this with the Cardinal Newman Center too. Very, very effeminate looking priests that are doing like weird they're kind of dancing with each other in a way that seems openly not straight. And then people said, oh, you just don't like fun. No, that's not true. That's not true. On this channel, we're kind of known for liking fun. But if I condemned, I don't know, sod, you know, the grass that you lay up front, acts of sod laying. And you said, oh, you just don't like fun. I'm like, no, that is not fun to me. That's not fun to me because I am a straight man. Same thing with two priests dancing at all or dancing with each other, pretending like they're in the club or having a little like Pokemon, the icon for the Roman Catholic Church. If you think that's fun, you might be not a redneck. You might be someone that you know, a heterosexual marriage comprising two spouses locked together in matrimony is not in your future. That's not. I love fun. I mean, yeah, let's go to Disneyland. Let's binge watch our favorite shows. Let's watch Halloween movies. Let's take the kids trick-or-treating on Halloween. I love all kinds of stuff that even, dare I say, Harry Potter. You know, a lot of people will spurg out about the ooh.
Oh, boy.
Fun is fun. I like fun. This is not fun. This is for Skittles people. And we know so because it was done by a Skittles person. So I guess we're just disagreeing about what's fun to straight men. All right. Speaking of a non-straight man, here's, I think, the most honest guy in the American church, Father James Martin, S.J.
The naughty pet.
The naughty pet himself, writing for America Mag on Friday, the day that, no, this was on Saturday, the day after they finished the Synod document, the final document, which replaces the post-synodal apostolic exhortation, and saying this is a very good thing. Here's what's in it. Synodality and controversial issues are here to stay. Takeaways from the Synod's final document. I'll repeat it one more time. This final document is different from other final documents insofar as it's automatically magisterialized or purports to be. The Synod documents are not automatically magisterialized, typically. They are usually sort of only considered magisterial once there's a post-synodal apostolic exhortation a few months later. Here's what Father Martin says. We have completed our work as Synod delegates and have, with the approval of the Holy Father, published our final document for a synodal church, communion, participation, and mission. This is the fruit of not only our prayer, dialogue, and discernment over these past 2 years in Rome, but even more importantly, reflective of the broad consultation that began in 2021 with the people of God in every diocese in the world. What are the highlights of this document? As I see it, they are as follows. Now, here's the first big, bright red flag. Synodality is a constitutive dimension of the church. That means synodality is mutually constitutive with the church, meaning it's part of the church's quiditative essence. This is not right. The church is, as a substance, an ousia, what it always was, what Jesus said it would be. They can't change what is considered part of the church and what's not. This is an important phrase and concept that appears early in the document in paragraph number 28. It means that along with, for example, the concept of the magisterium or the tradition of social justice, which also is not part of the constitutive quiddity of the church, but they say that part is. The magisterium is, social justice isn't. Synodality is an essential element of the church. No, it's not. The final document says that synodality, which is defined in a variety of ways in Part 1, is a path that enables the church to be more participatory and missionary, and can no longer be considered a curiosity, a practice to be dabbled in, or a passing fad. So they're saying synodality is the church. It is essential to how the church understands itself. Always oriented toward mission, and they won't say what that mission is because remember, Pope Francis says the mission of the church is not to evangelize or to convince others of the faith. He says specifically that is not the mission of the church. The Great Commission, Jesus says it's to convert everyone you possibly can intellectually. Pope Francis says the opposite. Pope Francis says to convert as many people as you can, even one person intellectually, is a mortal sin. So what mission are they working toward? They don't say. Synodality is always oriented toward mission, unstipulated mission, can be seen as a gathering at all levels of the church for mutual listening, dialogue, and community discernment. That's paragraph 28. In other words, we're not going to tell you what the mission is, but we want to hear from all of the non-Christian religions. We want to incorporate from all the non-Christian religions. We want to hear from and incorporate articles from all the non-practicing Catholics who are in what we would call, in past times, mortal sin. We still call it that. And we want to change the church to accommodate non-Christian religions and what would be called mortal sins and mortal sinners. This ancient path finds its roots in the Council of Jerusalem. No, it doesn't, because that is not a synod that was constitutive of the church. That was just a non-ecumenical meeting in whatever that was, 55 AD, Council of Jerusalem. Not an ecumenical meeting, therefore not magisterial. Ladies and germs, the parish orphans and retrogrades, the question as to whether or not a given meeting is partly constitutive of the church has always resided in whether or not this meeting was ecumenical, meaning the whole church. Councils are ecumenical, synods are not, so it can't be constitutive. For me, Martin says, this is one of the most important messages of the synod, the fundamental place of synodality in the church. Okay. Question number 2, decision-making must be participatory. Now, I warned you to look for this last time I came to you live. I said, they're going to say it's participatory, it's democratic, it's egalitarian. This is a lie. Cardinal Mueller, just a few days ago, warned us that most of Francis's cardinals that are in his corner are saying he can do whatever he wants and he's going to do it monolithically. So they don't believe that decision-making must be participatory, but they use doublespeak to always say that what they're doing has the imprimatur of all the people. Not that that matters anyway. They're just trying to reallocate blame from Francis for the heresies that are coming or have already happened. Remember, like communion for the divorced and civilly remarried, that's a heresy. He did that. He wrote that in a post-apostolic exhortation almost 8 years ago. And they're trying to, actually over 8 years ago, and they're trying to reallocate the blame. He says, one theme, Father Martin.
After hours.
Father Martin loves that little emoji, loves Lupe. So cute, so rainbow. It looks like it'll just tickle you under your armpits, Father Martin. Or it might tickle you in other places, which is the real joy.
Like grown men falling over themselves for like a little girl emoji. I can't.
Are there really grown men falling over
grown
them?
men on Twitter that are like all into this little girl emoji. I'm just like, bro, bad luck. Such a bad luck.
I don't think it's grown men on Twitter. It's probably maybe arrested development 20-year-olds on Twitter who are kind of maybe more like 10-year-olds.
I don't know how you expect to land like a solid like based female like out there like proclaiming this cartoon. It's just not a good look.
So decision making has to be participatory. One theme repeated over and over in this document in regard to almost every facet of the life of the church is wide participation in decision making. This is an utter ruse. This is a document quotation. It is essential that we promote the broadest participation possible in the discernment process, particularly involving those who are at the margins of the Christian community and society. That's number 82. It would be impossible to read this document and not understand that all people should have a voice in both the decision-making and decision-taking processes, while still recognizing the role of the hierarchy. That's impossible. If all people have a role in everything, then there's no role for the hierarchy, who have always decided for the church. The Council of Jerusalem stands for that proposition, that the church alone makes these decisions. All they really mean is we want to hear from the sinners who share our favored mortal sins. Be like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you guys want to do adultery? I'll pretend that we're talking to straight people. Do you guys want to do adultery? Because there are some of these straight people. And the people are like, yeah, I want to do adultery and then go get communion. Okay, well, we heard from you. We're going to be democratic. We heard you loud and clear. They're not hearing the people that are like, no, we just want to do the Catholic thing, the unchanging Catholic truth. This is how faction works. Go read Federalist number 10. Go read Federalist number 10. This is how faction works. You pull the electorate and you pretend that you're hearing from everyone when you're just hearing from a faction that you're sympathetic to.